Well, this is the engine compartment of our S-Code Competition Orange Cougar Eliminator 390 car, S-Code car, and a real documented 390 car. Devin's going to show you all the documentation at the end. We have a Marty report, and we even have the original window sticker that this car was sold with. So, got some paperwork for you. The original equipment radiator that came with it, correct fan shroud, flex fan on it right now. Correct air cleaner that came with it with the snorkel and the way it was. Ford type poly carburetor on it, so it has the transfer line plus the regular fuel line that comes onto it. Aluminum fin valve pan covers, the way this car was released with. Disc brakes in the front. Power booster, power steering, all new belts. Even the hoses on this thing are auto light hoses, top and bottom. This thing's hot. This usually, we do it in reverse right now. We had to get it up on the rack and do the undercarriage first, and then we did the drive, and now we're doing what we usually do first is the presentation. New battery in it, a new battery OK sticker there, fuel filter sticker. Paint, tires, fluids, battery, all the stickers the way they would have been from Ford in 1969 when this car was produced. 390 4V Mercury V8 engine, the correct motor for this car, and it even has the original tag still by the coil bracket between the distributor. Still the original Ford ID tag for this engine. You can see everything on the engine's been outdone, completely tanked and refurbished. A little bit more cam than this guy came with from the factory. It's a little more stout than it was from the factory, and certainly runs a lot better now too. Cast iron exhaust manifolds, just the way they were from the factory. This valve pan cover is leaking. I saw that underneath, so we do have to address. We're going to put two new pan covers on it. We're not going to just change one. We'll put them both on. Everything in this engine compartment is just the way it should be from Ford in 1969. Your strut braces, original equipment just the way they were. Inner fender panels, all original and undisrupted. There's no deterioration whatsoever, no rust on top of them, which a lot of them did have. Let's see, original alternator. I did mention power steering. Peekaboo headlights on this guy. Nice look to this Cougar. Gives it a nice wide front end look to it. Dual horns on it. Again, it's a Mercury Cougar. It's kind of a step above what a Mustang would be. A Mustang being more popular, this being more dramatic and more luxurious. Beautiful car. Original washer bottle on this side that goes with the wiper washer system. Everything on this engine compartment is as it was in 1969. There's absolutely nothing that has been changed from its originality. Under hood is nice and painted competition orange, just the way the outside is. There's absolutely nothing. This is a fantastic looking engine. They made 335 horsepower, if I remember, from the factory. This one would have a little bit more than that. It does have the original intake carburetor on it, but it's got a little bit more cam in it right now. So it runs accordingly. Nice running car, nice engine compartment. We'll go around the rest of it for you now. Hi, you're Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and we got a real special guest for you today. A very rare car. This is a Mercury Cougar Eliminator, 1969. This is actually, to my recollection, this is only the second Cougar that we've had here in the last 2.5 years that I've been here. The other one was yellow. It was just a nice looking car, XR7, but this thing is an Eliminator. This thing is a knockout car, a real performance piece of equipment. We're going to go over it and show you all the neat stuff on it. The gap from the fender to the hood to the cowl, look. And the finish on this car is absolutely positively show quality. It's definitely not a driver quality paint job on this car. Everything, the fit, the finish, everything on this car is top shelf. Hood pins the way they were from the factory on these cars. Really nice looking setup on the front end of this. Same thing with the gap down the sides here. You can see where it transitions to the cowl area. The front cap on the fender, the fitment, everything just lines up just the way it should. Cougar. No patina whatsoever in it. This is aluminum here, brushed aluminum, polished aluminum. Just a nice, no dents, no marks, no chips, nothing from prior years of usage. Peekaboo headlights in this thing really give this thing a nice wide, low look to it. Yes, that's aluminum. That is aluminum. Mercury designation in the front. Again, our Cougar designation on this side. Real nice fitment, if you notice, on the peekaboo headlights. You can't even tell they're there. Bumper fitment. This guy's right on the money. It can't fit any better than it does. It absolutely cannot. No brush marks or anything on the top of the bumper from anyone putting their feet up on it or distressing it in any other way through the years. I don't feel any dinghies whatsoever on the front of it from stones being thrown up again through the years. The chrome on the bumper is absolutely top shelf. Has a front spoiler on it. That's the way these guys came in an Eliminator package. The parking lights are nice and crystal clear. Nice chrome bezels around them. No pulls or dents whatsoever or chips on the front valance on this car. The front end of this car is just spot on. There's not one little thing that is out of place on it. The fit, the finish, of course the scoop is a non-functional scoop. It looks like it's functional, but it is not. It is not opened up to be a functional scoop. Fantastic front end. I can't find a single mark on the paint, a single piece that's out of alignment. Everything is as it should be on the front end of this car. Let's go down the driver's side. Okay, driver's side of our Cougar Eliminator S-Code 390 car. And this is the correct Eliminator striping down the side of it in like a semi-flat black. It's not gloss, it's like a semi-flat. Side marker lamp in the front, just as nice as it can be. You can't see it, but where the fender transitions onto the front panel, the front fascia, absolutely flawless fitment. All tin. No one's made an attempt to roll these up or modify them in any way for fender clearance through the years. Look at this. Absolute precise fitment. Look. That is absolutely spot on. Can't get any better than that. Correct wiper arms and blades for this guy. Argent finish, just the way they should be. Nice, legible, clean VIN tag right on the front of the windshield, the way it should be. No marks whatsoever on the trim pieces around the front window, which is a sunshade fade tinted front window in this car. Top of the dash, there's no marks, cracks, deviations whatsoever. Where it transitions to the base of the windshield is just as clean and crisp as it was the day it was made. Absolutely nothing wrong there. Absolutely nothing. Roof itself is the roof. We never find anything on it. I don't see any marks or chips or dinghies or anything through the years of something falling on it in the garage. Drip rail, little dinghy right here. I can feel it, I can't see it. I can feel it though. Another dinghy here I can feel, but I can't see it. Yeah, if you look at an angle, you can see them. They're certainly nothing that you can address, but I just want you to know that they are there. You can feel them, you can't see them. Window fitment. Look at the way these windows fit, which, by the way, they're tinted glass also. The front window to the back. You could stand here with a high-pressure hose and not get any water in this guy. The white whiskers, just as clean and fresh as can possibly be. A pair of matched racing mirrors from Ford on it. Door handle, no patina whatsoever. Absolute flawless chrome on it. Door needs adjusted. There's a little tiny bit. I can just barely catch it, but you can feel there's a little bit of an overhang. Door has to go in just a hair. We're going to adjust that for you so it fits just a little bit better than it does. This is certainly well within production standards, but we're going to make it better for you. Eliminator designation on the side of it. Rocker panel moldings, the kick panels, there's no heel marks or dents or scrapes or scuffs or anything on them. Just as new as they were when they left the factory. Trim around the back window. Don't feel a single dent there, not a mark, not a single mark. The hat rack, shelf, tray, just the way it should be. It's been, and it is a factory style too. It's got the perforations for the rear seat speakers, if you use it as an option. And the tray itself has no fade whatsoever to it. Really nice condition. We're already underneath this, so you'll see that there is absolutely nothing. There's been no issues whatsoever through the years with rust. And the wheel wells themselves, no one's made any modifications to them. No one's ground them or rolled them up or done anything for bigger tires. This was just a driver car, apparently all its life. Side marker lamp in the back. Cougar designation. Whole side of it. Adjust the door a little bit in, just a little tiny bit. This thing is laser straight down the sides. It has a nice contour to the side sculpture on it that Mercury incorporated into the design of this vehicle. Wheels are a little bit bigger in the back than in the front. I'm going to say there's 7s in the front and 8s in the back. Kelsey Hayes wheels, Ford Magnum 500s. Ford called them actually a Magnum 500. It does have the correct centers on them also, Cougar centers. The tires are Blackwall. They are a white letter tire on the inside. Whoever purchases this car, if they determine that they would rather have a white letter tire on it, we'll flip-flop them for you. The tires are all new. They're all fresh. It's just that the tires, the way you see them now, are Blackwall, but they are white letters on the inside. Let's go out back, see if we can find something there for you. Okay, tail section of our Eliminator. See the deck lid? Look. How can you fit anything any better than that? The hood or the deck lid? You can't. That is as precise as you can possibly fit a body panel on a vehicle. Wing in the back, instead of being painted flat black like most of the companies do, Mercury went a little step further and they painted this the same color as the car, give it a little bit more class. And again, look at the difference in the tail section from a Mustang to this. Mustang being a more popular car than a Cougar, Cougar being a more luxurious car. Each one of these is a chrome-plated fin, and there's no patina on any of them. And the taillight assembly literally lights up the whole back end of this car. Huge taillight assembly on this vehicle. Absolutely huge. Bumper fitment. Oh, your backup lights are in the corners of the fender caps. Bumper fitment. Same as the front, right on the money. Nice clear lenses on these guys too. And this chrome trim around them, there's absolutely no patina. There's no brush marks or scuffs or anything on the top of this bumper either. It's as absolutely new as it could possibly be. No marks, no dinghies. I don't feel a single one. That's why I rub my hands over this. There's no way I can take a look at that and tell you that there's not a mark in that bumper. But if I rub my hands over it and I can feel, there's a dent here, or there's a dent there, or there's a mark or scuff, you can feel it, but you can't see it a lot of times. That's why we do it this way. The rear valance, there's no pulls whatsoever on it. 2 turn downs on the exhaust, the way these guys came from the factory. Even the gas filler door, look at this. I mean, talk about high end. What a dramatic rear section to incorporate into a vehicle. So much classier than anything else out there in the market, and that's what Cougar tried to do on these vehicles. Even the peekaboo headlights in the front, really, really classy setup. One more side to go. Okay, everybody always wants documentation. Well, we got another one with all kind of documentation. We got one of Kevin's reports, a Marty report on this vehicle, stating its options, when it was produced, where it was sent, where it was sold out of, and a lot of information concerning the vehicle. There's also from Marty telling you how many of these cars actually were made. There were only 2,250 Eliminator hardtops made. 260 of them. 260 out of 100,069 Cougars built. 260 came with this 390 S-Code V8 engine. You realize what percent? That's nothing. Very, very rare car. 182 of those had C6 trannies in them. 40 of them were painted competition orange. So basically this is one of 40 cars in this configuration. And it goes down to tell you a little bit more. But this is the big piece of equipment as far as documentation goes. It's the original, not a reprint. This is the original window sticker that came with this vehicle in 1969, telling you all its options, their cost and the total cost of the vehicle. So you want a documentation, there it is. And you even got the original fender engine tag on the motor yet. This is a real deal. It's a nice car. Take a look at it. It's down here at Hankster's. Okay, last side, our passenger side of our XR7, of our Eliminator. Side marker light just as nice as can be. Cougar designation. Still haven't found a mark, a chip, a scuff, a scratch. Nothing. Nice as you'd ever want to find, all tin. Trim around the back window. Can't feel a single thing on it, absolutely nothing. Again, that hatch shelf, rack tray is just as precise as you'd ever hope to find. Sail panels the same way on both sides. Again, nothing on the roof at all, absolutely none. Eliminator designation, this door is right on the money. It fits absolutely flawlessly. This, I forgot to mention on the other side, this is chrome. And usually on these cars, this piece right here is all pitted and distressed. This is not. This is as the day it was new. That's the way it presents itself. Again, our window fitment front to back could not possibly be any better. I feel something on this one. Nope. Nothing on that drip rail. That guy's as good as you're going to ever find. Nice addition. Right-hand mirror. Got to have that guy. Wipes, whiskers. Absolutely flawlessly new. Chrome on the door handle. No patina. Just the way it should be. Look at this. You're kidding me. Look. Unbelievable. Side marker lamp up front. Our stripe, Eliminator stripe down the side. Correct style rectangular based antenna for Ford. Dash as sweet as can be. Went over the entire car. You just watched me do it. Devin filmed the entire circumnavigation here of this vehicle. And the only thing we found is one little slight door adjustment. It's still well within factory specs, but we're going to make it just a little bit better, make it a little tighter for you. Other than that, there's not a panel that is out of place. I didn't find a single scratch, mark, ding. Could not feel a single imperfection in the metal anywhere or in the trim other than two that I can feel that I can't see on that drip roll on the other side. This is about as straight a car as you're ever going to find. It's a Cougar Eliminator. It's a very rare car. Very few of these guys were made, and even fewer yet in an S-code car, which is a 390 hypo motor, automatic transmission in it. And you can watch the video. You can see how this thing runs. It goes up to 75 miles an hour, about as quick as you want. A real dramatic car. Peekaboo headlights in the front, nice chrome accents all through it. The front end, the sides, the back end. Also no kick marks on this rocker panel either. And a very dramatic back end on this vehicle with all the chrome accentuated little flutes in the rear tail light assembly, which if I remember correctly, I think these are sequential also. I'm not positive, but I think Mercury had sequential tail lights in them. But fantastic set of Magnum 500 wheels on it. Greatest color combination you could ever hope for in a car. And it's available here at Hankster's in Daytona Beach, Florida. And we encourage everybody to come down and take a look at it. But if you can't, that's why we're doing this video for you. Devin's going to show you 100 photos, or pretty close to that, high resolution that you can blow up of everything on this car. Engine compartment, undercarriage, interior, anything you want to look at, you can define it as much as you want to blow the thing up so that you can see exactly what the car has. If there's any questions, give us a call. We'll give you further information or more pictures if you request them, something more specific. But this car is as nice a vehicle as you will ever find. It's a very rare car. It has documentation, which we're going to show you in just a minute. And it's available here at Hankster's. So come down and take a look at it. Okay, this is the interior of our Cougar Eliminator. Really, really neat car. Wood grain steering wheel in it, which is rim blow, by the way. You squeeze it and the horn blows. But it is a absolute crack-free wood grain style Ford steering wheel. Cougar designation in the center, nice resilient tri-spoke in the center of it. Door panels don't have any marks whatsoever. Both interior lights Passenger assist lights are working as they should. Correct molded armrests and door actuators on the, it's even got kick panel lights that are functioning also. The dashboard has absolutely no deterioration whatsoever on it. It feels like it is the original dash. Headliner, nice and crisp and clean, fresh. Visors, nice and resilient yet, nice padded, and none of the stitching coming loose on them. It is a day-night mirror, and there's no milkiness at all on the lens itself. This is an Eliminator. If this were an XR7, it would have lumber on the dash. It would have a lot of wood grain on the dash. Eliminators did not. They left the lumber off the dashboard, and it just has a crinkled black matte-like finish behind the gauges, or the gauge surround, and the passenger side, which has a clock in it. Of course, you got a speedometer and a tach. This has the optional instrumentation in it too, and a quadrant of gauges. AM radio that came with it that is not functioning, and we don't care, because whoever's going to buy it's going to put something else in it anyway, their own sound system. Somebody's card. Glove box in the dashboard, good sized glove box. There's also a glove box in the console for storage. Cruise-O-Matic C6 transmission in this guy too, by the way. I neglected to mention that underneath. But it does have a C6 Ford tranny in it, real heavy duty tranny that they use with all the big block engines. Inner door panels here, all the rubbers are nice and resilient and fresh. You can see your door seals, everything just as fresh as can be. The seals, the seal panels, just as fresh and nice as you'd hope. It has Ford designation on it. Loop carpeting, just the way it came from Ford. Front seat, back seat, the vinyl on them is just the way it should be. It has this rough type vinyl, perforated vinyl through the seating area in the center, smooth vinyl on the outside. Window cranks front and rear, all new, or as new condition anyway. Side panels in the back, there's no deterioration whatsoever on them. Seat belts in the back, seat belts in the front, and it's got shoulder belts, so it has all the amenities as far as safety for year 1969 is concerned. It has console. I mean, how could I miss that? It does have a console on it. All the chrome in the console is just as fresh as can be. Also, it has a place to house your seat belts. This car is just as fresh and clean a car as you'll ever hope to find. It's a Cougar Eliminator in a S-Code 390 competition orange. One of, what did we figure, one of 40 cars that was produced in this configuration. So it has a lot of rarity to it, and the fact that it is an S-Code motor and everything's still just the way it was when it left the factory gives this thing a lot of collectability. It didn't make very many Cougars compared to Mustangs, and to find one in this condition with this option list on it is very, very rare, and documentation too on top of that. So I don't know where you're going to find another one, but we definitely have one here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and it's available. So definitely take a look at this guy because it's gorgeous. Okay, we are in our Mercury Cougar Eliminator competition orange. This is a gorgeous car. This thing's absolutely stunning. Remote mirror is not working. Got to do it by hand. Probably not going to fix that because you can still adjust it by hand and leave it alone. We're not going to buy a new mirror for you. Amp gauge is functioning as it should. It is charging. We got a half tank of fuel. Speedometer I'm sure is going to work. The tachometer is functioning as it should. Oil pressure gauge coming up. Temperature starting to rise also. Horn. We got a horn. Hey, check this out. Rim blow steering wheel. You squeeze the rim, and that's how you blow it, not in the center. Let's see here. Wipers. Let's see if we got wipers. We have wipers. Look at those guys beating themselves to death, huh? They even rest the way they're supposed to. Turn signal left, functioning as it should. Okay, turn signal right, functioning as it should. Okay, radio, what's the chance? Okay, 50-50 chance of this guy working. Let's see. Well, we lost on that deal. That guy's not working. Okay, let's see. That's reverse, neutral, drive. Let's go for a ride. First time I got a chance to drive this 390 S-Code car. Really rare piece of equipment here. This is a nice car. I like this thing. Speedometer is working just the way it should. 35-mile-an-hour zone. We're up to 45. All the gauges functioning as they should. No hands on the steering wheel. We're going straight as an arrow down the road. Gotta aim it the right way though. Okay, let's try braking no hands, see what happens. Straight as an arrow, stops like it should. Transmission has nice, firm, solid shifts to it. Real nice, crisp shifts. Not objectionably hard, but it has a nice, firm shift to it. First into second, and then second into third. Each one is nice and crisp. Steering's nice and responsive. It's not loose at all. No rattles, no shakes, no squeaks, no shimmies. Absolutely nothing. This car's a very, very nice car. Give this thing a little squirt here and see how it runs. At 75, that's probably enough. Nice firm shifts. This is a great car. Very nice solid car. Steers well, has a good look to it. Great color combination. This is a car that somebody, if they like the Mustang, but the Mustang didn't have quite enough, I don't know what you want to call it, class, panache, whatever you want to call it, that's when they bought a Mercury Cougar. The Cougar just had a lot of amenities, the taillight assemblies, the grille work, the scoop, just the way everything was on the car, the dash layout, interior appointments, everything was just a pretty good notch above what Ford offered in the Mustang, and that's what Mercury offered in the Cougar, with the same drive lines. So you got to look at this as a classy S-Code Mustang. Well, this is the underside of our S-Code Cougar Eliminator, 1969. Competition orange. This car's a great car. Starting up front here, you can see everything's been refurbished. Everything. New spindles, new calipers, new rotors, new power steering hoses, new tie rod ends, new ball joints. Sway bar has new bushings in it. No leaks on the engine whatsoever. It is a 390 4-barrel S-Code motor in this car. New starter, absolutely brand new starter. There is a valve pan cover leaking. I can see it on top. It's dripping down on the exhaust manifold. So the little discoloration you see there is the oil coming from the back of the valve pan cover dripping onto the exhaust. So that's something we definitely have to address for you. Torque boxes in the front are really nice. Couple of marks, jack stand marks, one here and one here. The skirts inside the fenders, no one's made any attempt to jack it up on those, thank God. So they're undisrupted. The subframes in the front, very nice condition. Incredibly nice condition. One jack mark here and another one to coincide with it on this side here. Floor pans themselves are the original floor pans. They're really great condition. They don't show any deterioration whatsoever. Original brakes, original fuel lines headed toward the rear. Pinch welds are still evident where the floor pans transition onto the rocker panels, and everything is just as sweet as could possibly be there. The pipes on this thing come off of the standard cast iron exhaust manifolds into a 2 1/8 inch H pipe, and then two straight pipes, 2 1/8 inch, also transitioning into the under chassis style mufflers that actually were released with this car. That style of muffler. Ford transmission in it, automatic. No leaks, one little drop here, but it's not really leaking anywhere. There's just a little tiny bit of seepage. Could be from, who knows what, probably from that valve pan leaking down. Other than that, there's no leaks whatsoever on the tranny. Everything is nice and dry. At least for a while anyway. It's an old muscle car, so even if you get it dry today, a year from now, you better plan on seeing a couple drops on the floor. The parking brake is still the original parking brake, and it's still hooked up and functional. Wow, these floor pans were really nice on this car. Really nice. No leaks on the tail shaft. The drive shaft is the original argent colored drive shaft with the correct colored markings on them. The torque boxes in the rear where the front springs mount are nice and solid. There's no deterioration whatsoever on them. Dent here, dent here, dent here, jack marks through the years. Same on this side from people jacking it up on the subframes through the years. If they would have put the jack stand over here or the jack over here where the torque box and the subframe transition together, there would be no marks. But they chose to go a little bit further. It's not where you jack these vehicles up. It had new shocks in the front also. I neglected to mention they are new shocks in the front. The entire car has been refurbished, you can see. Very, very well done. The rear has new shocks on it also. Leaf spring rear, multi-leaf. Nice curvature to the springs. 9-inch Ford heavy-duty rear end in it. These guys are really tough. Other than the Dana rear end, 9 3/4 Dana in the Mopar, that's the strongest rear end that any manufacturer has ever offered. There's a brand new round of rubber on this car, front and back, and the white letters are on the inside. Black walls on the outside. That's just how they chose to do this. If the purchaser decides that he wants the white letters out, we can do that. We can flip the white letters out for you. No leaks on the rear differential whatsoever. The floor pans where they transition up over the rear axle, there's no deterioration whatsoever. This whole car is just totally rust-free underneath. Drop downs in the quarters are as new as you could ever hope to find. Subframes going back are just as new as they were up front. No jack stands on them. You can't get one up there or jack marks. Again, 2 1/8 inch tailpipes with the correct turn downs in the back the way they were from the factory. Appears to be a new gas tank, but it could be the original tank. Can't really tell. Does have a new sending unit and a fuel pickup in it, however, and it does have a drain plug in the right front corner the way it should. The trunk area, the floor pans around the gas tank, everything is just as fresh and clean as it was in 1969. Fender wells in the back the same way. You can see this whole car is just an absolute diamond underneath, as it is on top, which you'll see in the video presentation. Drum brakes in the rear. Brake lines still have the original windings around them, wire windings, and new brake line, the soft hoses that go to them. I don't see anything on this thing amiss other than a couple of little dinghies where the car was jacked up through the years. Just normal procedure, normal wear on these vehicles, but the floor pans, all the originality, some of the factory splatter undercoating still evident on them. New exhaust system, one leaking valve pan on the driver's side from what we can see up underneath. 390S code, new round of rubber. This is about as nice a car underneath as you could ever hope to find. It's a S code Cougar Eliminator, 1969. Really rare car. And the best color you could ever hope to find. Competition orange. Take a look at it. It's here at Angsters.